fun. I love when you do. I love your topics.
All right. Well, I got a bunch of them, and I'm having an insanely emotional day, strictly because I'm fucked up. But aren't we all? We're all fucked up. So.
And it depends on the day how fucked up and stuff.
Exactly. You know what though? It's Saturday, which I do love my Saturdays, and I'm about to. When we're done here, I'm gonna finish packing, and then I'm getting in my car and I'm driving to Sherman Oaks, California, nice. Because that's where the family lives, and we're having Easter dinner at my cousin's house. And she married a Lebanese man.
Oh wow, okay.
Who is awesome. I mean, we love Joe. I've probably known him 90% of my life. Maybe not 90. Let's say 80% of my life. He's awesome, just awesome. But he always puts up with the Italians, right? We have every holiday is an Italian holiday in our book, right? Like we forget there are other nationalities because we're Italian. Mm-hmm. And so we're having a Lebanese Easter, and I'm actually really freaking excited about it because
that's wonderful.
I was like, oh yeah, why haven't we done Lebanese before? Well, apparently they do it every year. Every year he gets Easter. So I'm very, very excited about that. Of course, the first thing I keep thinking is, how much is this going to cost me in gas at this moment, right?
Yeah, I'm not envious of you gas drivers right now. Steve Brock.
Everything's in. That's why it's good I work out of my house. Hey, do you want to talk religion? Or do you want to talk girl on girl action?
Either one is fine, and they kind of go hand in hand. But I have to say, like, as someone who does not conform to any religion, like even this morning, I've gotten 3 texts, from 3 separate people, happy Easters. And it's like, I always respond in kind because I want to honor how they feel, and it's coming from such a warm place. But that other part of me wants to be like, I could give a flying fuck about Easter. I don't give a fuck about Easter. I don't care who rose and who didn't rise. I think it's all a bunch of bullshit and stories. And I think religion, I was at a dinner last night and religion got brought up, and I was like, yes, I appreciate the ceremonies around religion, or like that it brings families together and community together. Like I love those aspects of religion, but there's also a flip side. People weaponize. I mean, look at what we're seeing with abortion right now across the United States. And so many wars have been fought and people have been killed, and in the name of anyone, it doesn't matter. Like, I'm not pointing out to any one specific religion or not, but it's like, it does drive me nuts when people just assume that you're a religious person. Mm-hmm. And I'm always very uncomfortable when, like, it wasn't even just happy Easter. It was like, I'm blessing you and blessing. And I just wanted to be like, I don't fucking need it. I didn't ask for it. I mean, I appreciate it, I guess. Thank you. Again, it's not coming from a bad place. So yeah, I don't want to be a dick in my response, but it's like, why the fuck do you just assume that everybody follows your religion? How do you know I'm not Muslim? How do you know that I'm not Jewish or any other?
Right. But just because I used to literally clench my teeth when the cashier at the market would say, have a blessed day. And I wanted to say, fuck you. And I am a believer, right? I'm like, you don't even know what that means. And that's what's so funny. So let's, from my point of view, as a person that grew up in the church, and I do believe in a God.
Sure.
I'm not as hell-bent in convincing everybody that they have to believe in my one God. Right. I believe in my God, right? But from our point of view, we were grown up, taught that you all have taken over Easter, and it's not a religious holiday for you guys, right?
It wasn't. It was about an Easter egg hunt.
It has nothing to do with the death of Christ or the resurrection of Jesus or any of those things, but we celebrate as a nation. So you can kind of look at it from that point of view as well. It's we were told it was a pagan holiday. God forbid we should celebrate anything pagan. I'm like, I don't know, if there's food involved, I'm celebrating. That's kind of how I feel.
I double click on that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like even with Merry Christmas, right? Like I will say Merry Christmas, but it's almost like it's not exactly the same thing, but I feel like there's a parallel. A friend of mine years ago had moved from Mexico to the United States. And I remember her saying it took her some time to get used to the fact that when someone in the United States asks or says, "How are you?" they're not legitimately looking for an answer.
Right.
It's more of a greeting. And that's how I feel like Merry Christmas or Happy New Year, like they've become more greeting oriented than religious based.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Almost like with the bunnies and, you know, Easter egg hunts. It's just become, what's the word? Like an annual event.
Yeah.
And I love that aspect.
Or they call it a Hallmark holiday, right?
Yeah.
So, or let's like, Valentine's Day. And yes, I can get semi jaded about it. Like, I don't wish people happy Easter. I just don't. I'm not offended if someone wishes me a happy Easter. And did I go to church yesterday for Good Friday? Randomly, I did. I wouldn't normally. I never go to church on Easter, ever. It's like amateur day at the church, right? I'm like, no,
like midnight mass too.
I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to park. And really, it's all about getting a parking spot at some of these churches. So, but that doesn't mean, for me personally, I got my own practice, my own rituals, which I don't love that word, but I'm going to use it. But that's why it doesn't bother me if someone were to say Happy Ramadan, which I don't know that that's a sentence, sure. Right? I would be like, oh, today's Ramadan, right? I would be like, I don't know.
It's funny that you mentioned that because years ago, growing up in Phoenix, I didn't know any Jewish people growing up. If they were, I just didn't know. Like it right. And when I moved to New York, and the Jewish population is massive and wonderful, mm-hmm. and but I really didn't know much about it, didn't understand. Like I learned a little bit more about some of their rituals, and I remember around the holidays, somebody said something about Mazel Tov, and so I, in kind, said, "Well, Happy Mazel Tov," and everyone started laughing because Happy Mazel Tov or Merry Mazel Tov. I can't remember what I said. I either said Happy Mazel Tov or Merry right. Mazel. And they were like, "That's the funniest fucking thing ever!" Like. But I was trying. I mean, it was one of those. I was just trying.
Yeah. So drop the happy is what you're telling me. Just say Mazel Tov. Is that it?
But then after that, with this group of friends, it just turned into Happy Mazel Tov.
Yeah, how lovely is that?
Yeah, it was like it was wonderful. It was like, thank you for just embracing my ignorance.
Yeah. Along those lines, here's what I found for myself recently, and I don't know. Again, to go with our blame conversation, I don't know what to blame, like what's happening in my life, but I find myself in general irritated by all religious rituals and practices at this point in my life, because all of them, my Christian, pagan, satanic, Jewish, and I know why. Like, I can articulate to you what I don't like about them is how much it affects day-to-day life of other people. And and for some reason, I'm irritated with that process at this moment in my life. And I'm like, oh my God, is this what old age feels like? I mean, like,
can you give an example? Like, what do you mean by that in terms of it impacting people's everyday?
Well, like, again, this is I'm not well thought out in the sense that this is just how I'm feeling, but yeah. There's my sister works with many Muslims, which is great, right?
Right.
But those many Muslims have to stop working, go to a temple, not a temple, a mosque, there we go, and pray multiple times a day, which in turn creates a shit ton of stress for my sister and having to get the fucking job done, right? And so, and do you see the anger coming out of me right now? And I don't want to, I'm not telling, so drop to your knees at your desk and pray. Never gonna be offended by that. Never gonna tell someone they can't do it. But they get to get in their cars and go to a mosque. So you work 8 hours a day, and 5 of those hours they are commuting back and forth to a mosque and praying. And then on certain days, they come in for 5 minutes and they never come back. And it gets to her. And so I got to hear her belly aching about it.
But what I guess I don't understand, and I don't know enough about this, so I'm not, is if you were being paid to work 8 hours a day, it's fine if you leave, if you work for 5 minutes, you're gone, and then you come back and work 8 hours later. Like, why?
Yeah, that's not happening. but again, is so what, and again, not well thought out at this moment. This is like just information comes at us, right? Every day, tons of information, and we are constantly processing it.
Yeah.
And so, and that's just, I mean, so that's one example. I'm going to bet you many religions, even Christians. So like Good Fridays, you know, I got it off because there's a lot of pressure to let people off for Good Friday because we got to go celebrate, not celebrate. Yeah, we got to celebrate the beginning of the end, the beginning of the end for Jesus, so he can rise again on the third day. So, and I'm like, okay, so that affects people, right? That affects other people.
That's so true. It's like, I was out to dinner a few nights earlier in the week, but we were all doing like a community, communal dinner where it was like, okay, everyone gets, and then we'll rotate and share.
Yeah, my favorite, by the way.
Oh, it was fantastic. And everyone's favorite dish was this pasta dish, this lemon pasta dish. Yes. And so everyone agreed we needed to order another one, but there was one guy at the table who was like, I'm not going to eat that. And I noticed he didn't eat the pasta, and I didn't ask, like, none of my business. I genuinely didn't care. It was like, shit, more for us, whatever. And some people just don't like pasta. I mean, I don't know who doesn't like pasta.
I don't either. That's a foreign concept.
And then he said, oh, I'm giving pasta up for Lent. And I was like, why? Like, and he's like, that's just what I chose to give up. Like, it's an easy one. And like, why not? And it was like, but I don't understand, I guess.
But I don't understand kosher. I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? So the difference is some rabbi blessed it and that makes it okay? I don't get it.
You know what I actually read once is, and I can't remember where I read it, so I didn't fact check. I don't know how true this is. Kosher is actually much healthier to eat if you eat cows and pigs or chickens or whatever, because since they have to be blessed, they're not going through those, I don't know what you call them, where the slaughterhouses. So a lot of the time it's like done in a field. And then part of the reason there's like mad cow disease and a lot of these diseases is the cows can smell the blood and they know what's happening, and that adrenaline runs through them. And that adrenaline apparently is what is bad. If I don't know, and that's why you have to cook it so well. And this, I don't know, because I don't eat meat. So I'm not, I genuinely don't know. But that because of the way it's killed, and take the prayer out of it, like that's just a part of it. But the way they're killed is actually much healthier, supposedly.
So then organic farm to table farms would be fine as well. And it doesn't need, I'm not saying, do not misunderstand me. If you want to eat kosher food, I'm in, eat kosher food. I'm not judging that part of it. I'm judging when we're sitting in a communal dinner and you're telling me, well, I can't eat nuts, right? So I eat around them. You know what I mean? I'm just like, eat around it. Like, if everybody else, it's just, I don't know what it is. On the flip side, I can tell you this, I sort of respect that he said something. Like, on the flip side,
Yeah, sure.
another thing that drives me crazy is when people feel a certain way and they don't say something. And I'm going to tell you this story. So I, for the first time in my life, went to a caucus. Is that what it's called?
The caucus?
Yeah, where you vote by, a bunch of, because I lived in California. We had a ballot, right?
Yeah.
Primary ballot. In Nevada, we caucus. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. I've never done it before. I want to experience it. Most miserable, horrible, awful experience of my life. Will never fucking do it again. Going back to the ballot. But it was something worth doing. I mean, it's so stupid. Let me tell you how stupid it is. It's a fucking waste of time. So let's start there. But because you caucus with your own people, first of all, right? You're caucusing with all Democrats, you're caucusing with all Republicans. So we're at this event. Oh my God, this is old age. It's name the woman that was running for president in the primary.
Elizabeth Warren. Jesus Christ.
How could you not remember that, Freedom? I count on you for this shit.
And I actually voted for her. She was my first choice. I know. Well, it's old age.
I'm kind of disappointed in you right now. Wow.
You totally should be 100%. I am disappointed in myself.
Okay, we're over it. I was just like, I get why I don't remember. I'm 56 years old. You have no excuse.
43, it happens.
Oh, okay. All right, so we'll start again. So at this caucus, Elizabeth Warren was ahead and she was going to win my group. And I was like, okay, so we're done. Let's get the fuck out of here, right? And then according to caucus rules, the Elizabeth Warren representative had 3 minutes to have a speech. And I'm like, I don't know. Let's not do it. So they said, is that all right with everybody? And I'm the only one that said, no, let's not. And this guy literally snapped at me. You should not be shutting people down, blah, blah, blah. Well, what was so funny was like 2 hours earlier, when some guy said, oh, we should let this person speak. He's like, no, we don't have time. No, a man said, no, we don't have time. Let's keep moving on. And nobody said anything. So that person didn't get to speak and we moved on. Now, I say, no, let's move on. He goes, no, that's not right. We should allow everybody the opportunity to share their opinion. And I said, so I've just shared my opinion. My opinion is we don't need to, she's already won. The vote is already going to her. What is 3 more minutes of her speaking? And it wasn't even Elizabeth Warren, it was a representative, gonna do for us? And we're just gonna turn around and walk out. Why am I wasting 3 more minutes? I was just being beside myself. Why am I telling you this? Oh, because I do appreciate when people, even if it's not popular, that they do say what they think and believe. What I don't appreciate is then I politely said, and that's what I was doing, is expressing my opinion. I didn't do all the other stuff. That was it. That was the end of the conversation. And then that person got 3 minutes and I was internally screaming. But I expressed my opinion. He expressed his opinion and we moved on. And
what's amazing is actually the number of people and how it impacts our lives in general when we don't share how we really feel, or we share what we think, and it's still in the same boat, but it's like where we just do what we think others will. Like I heard the other day someone talking about if you're in a group and you go to someone's home and everyone just assumes we're supposed to watch a movie, but nobody really wants to. And then that becomes like the norm of the group, yet nobody wants to do it. and
Right.
how it starts happening. And it's like, I just find, and I know I'm guilty of it, and more so in like romantic relationships,
Right.
because that's where that vulnerability comes. And if you're not vulnerable, vulnerability breeds vulnerability. But it's like, and then there's more fear of like being hurt, but even in the situations like that, it's like people may not want to feel dumb or the judgment instead of just speaking up.
But there's a consequence for not speaking up as well, though, right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
do we weigh, and I think a lot of us do, we weigh
Yeah.
what is the path of least resistance.
Yeah.
And for me, actually, that's one of the reasons why this is so good, is so I know I'm going to say things that are not popular or correct or, right
Mm-hmm.
in some ways, because I do have like, yeah, I'm old and cranky in some instances. Not, I mean, it is what it is. I'm really not compared to a lot of people, but I'm way more than I used to be. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I'm going to do, I'm going to act. I might accidentally pick my nose one day. Of course, I can edit that out. It's just, it is what it is. So I've taken this approach internally, like in my own life. And I have decided I am going to say not exactly what I'm thinking, because exactly what I'm thinking sometimes is not very nice. And I would rather not start a fight if I don't have to. Like, let's assume the best in people, and that's what I'm working on. But I'm gonna start saying things. So no, I'm really not interested in hearing 3 minutes about Elizabeth Warren when she's already won. There's nothing I can do. I mean, and I don't dislike Elizabeth Warren, so don't misunderstand me. I did not vote for her in the caucus.
Mm-hmm.
But if she had won the presidency, I'd be supporting her right now. I mean, it is what it is, right?
I wanted her to win. I still am bitter, and I'm bitter at myself that I couldn't remember her name, considering I did vote for her.
That's what's so funny. I didn't do, although I said older. I mean, like, think about oldest.
I think I was just stuck with Amy Klobuchar so much that I couldn't think outside of that box.